This video is going to be a little bit different than what you normally see from the channel. And what I mean by this is I normally allow the tech to speak for itself. The AirPods Max are, I would say, the most expensive AirPods that you can buy from Apple. They definitely have the Apple tax on top of them. And I've been using them for the last couple of weeks. I paid $601 here in California because with tax, that's how much they cost. And I compared them to the Sony XM4s as well as the Freebuds from, well, the Freebuds Studio specifically from Huawei. And at the end of the day, I'm having a very hard time explaining or even recommending these headphones to anybody using either an iOS device, an Android device, a PC, or even a Mac, because headphones shouldn't just be used in one ecosystem. Headphones are very personal. Headphones are things that you use with multiple sources because at the end of the day, they're based on a Bluetooth technology, which means they should be able to work great regardless what you're connecting them to. That's the true mark of a good pair of headphones. So, in today's video, we're going to check out the AirPods Max after 2 weeks, and I'm also going to give you guys my opinions after testing them out not only on an iPhone, on an Android device, on my Windows PC, on my Mac, and of course, gaming with them. How does that actually work? This is TK. Sabaha everybody. Welcome back to the channel. Let's dive in. Like and subscribe and make sure you hit that bell icon so that you're always notified to whenever we have new videos on the channel. So here's the 3 different headphones that I've been testing out, primarily using the AirPods Max as my main drivers for the last 2 weeks. I've used them for daytime jobs, so phone calls, conference calls, listening to music. I've also connected them to my PC and I've tried playing games using them. I have here the XM4s from Sony, some of the best options that you can get, and I did pick these guys up for about $279 off of Amazon over the holidays. So they were definitely on a sale price, but overall at maximum about $350, and again about the same thing for the Huawei Freebuds Studios here. So $350 roughly, $550 before tax. So when you add tax roughly for all of them, you were obviously looking close to $400 for both of these guys, but again, $600 over here. And the price difference is a major price difference. First and foremost, all of them are intended to be used for an extended amount of time. So 20 hours plus for sure. They're having basically active noise cancellation as well as the fact that they also have touch control. So this one does not. The AirPods Max actually had just a button control on the top and right, which is again one of those things that you have to keep in mind. But as far as the actual pairing process, all 3 of them work over Bluetooth. All 3 of them will basically work on both Android and iOS. Now, only the Sonys have an app that you can actually use directly to basically to configure them on both your Android and as well as your iOS, and it helps improve the audio quality tremendously. All 3 of them feature active noise cancellation, and of course to a different degree depending on your preference. Also, they also feature pass-through mode, meaning the ability of listening to outside noises and of course being able to actually be aware of your environment. So you're never actually having to take off your headphones to have a conversation with somebody. Now, out of the 3, only the Sonys offer us the ability of using them with a wired connection, which means we can actually, if we deplete the battery on the Sonys, we can actually connect them to a 3.5mm headphone jack and of course be able to use them as standard headphones, again with the battery depleted. But both the Huawei and as well as the AirPods Max do not offer us that feature, so that's something to keep in mind. There's a little bit of a flexibility going on. From a material standpoint, both the XM4s and the Freebuds feature a nice soft material, premium material on the ear cups as well. And you can see the right and left have obviously the detection feature. You're able to put them on, take them off, and it'll detect. We have the active noise cancellation option here, turn on, off, and pass through. And of course, here we have the ability of turning on Bluetooth pairing, power, and of course, USB-C connectivity to be able to charge them since, USB-C everything at this point. The Sonys feature a similar design. As far as weight, just for reference, between the 3, the AirPods are about 384 grams, and here the Huawei Freebuds are actually about 260 grams, and Sony is actually running the lightest at about 254 grams. So from a weight distribution, these will definitely feel as if you have that much weight on your head, but the rest are obviously much better. The material here is very similar, although we only have the soft material sitting at the top. It's actually hard plastic on the sides. Again, detection on both ear cups to be able to detect on and off, and of course, active noise cancellation. But what I mentioned to you guys at the beginning is the fact that we have a 3.5mm headphone jack support. So if your phone, let's say the Sony Xperia Mark 1, Xperia 1 Mark 2 or Xperia 5 Mark 2, you're able to connect them over a 3.5mm headphone jack and still enjoy the benefit. NFC pairing is present here also, which is a little bit different than both of the other options. And again, soft materials on both ends here, on the Huawei Freebuds as well as on the actual XM4s from Sony. Now, where Apple comes in a little bit different as far as the build material, we definitely have much more premium material when it comes to the build quality. There's different color options, but essentially what you're getting here is a much more refined designed look here. The swiveling ear cups definitely feel very nice. They're very sturdy. And of course, what you have here on the top is a mesh configuration, which means when it sits on the top of your head, it actually sits against a mesh. Now, surprisingly, with this setup, it actually feels really comfortable for an extended amount of usage. Although I will mention that there's some articles coming up right now with extended usage of the AirPods Max and condensation building up in the actual ears. It's starting to interact or interfere with the on-ear detection mechanism that we have in here. Surprisingly, that feature only works when it's connected to an Apple device. So if you're running it on your iPhone, on-ear detection will work. 360 audio will also work here, or the spatial audio is what Apple calls it, is present only on Apple devices. When you go over to an Android device, to a PC, all of that is out the door. None of that works. And as far as the configurations with the buttons here, we basically have a digital crown for volume control, skip track, answer and hang up calls, and initiating Siri. As far as the button on the right side, it pretty much gives us the ability of turning on active noise cancellation or pass-through audio. It does not give us the ability of turning it off. For that, we do need to have access to an iPhone, and only iPhones allow us to do that because that's where the feature is sitting. The ear cups that we have here are very nice, much nicer material as far as what you normally get with headphones, but I feel like it's a little bit different. They're not leather, they're definitely fabric. So if you're used to having that premium, nice leather feel that we have here with, let's say, with the XM4s or even with the Freebuds, this is definitely something different. It's soft, it's very nice and easy to use. They're magnetically clamped in here. They're not actually directly in. You're able to replace them. They cost about 70 bucks per piece, but again, they should be able to last you quite a bit. The top part is not replaceable, so any damage or any tear into this will definitely cause some problems. Identifiable with right and left ear cups, and of course configurable to put them on the head. And pairing them with a specific device that is not an Apple device, you need to hold and press the actual ANC activation till the light at the bottom turns white. Once that starts turning white and flickering, it pairs like a normal pair of headphones to any device, be it your PC, your iPhone, your Android, everything else works the same. Now, we have to talk about the cases that are included with this, because obviously there's a concern around the case that was included with the AirPods Max. So whatever you want to call it, this is essentially the AirPods Max case that comes included in the box. It provides us the ability of protecting the case, also putting them in deep sleep. Although that depends on the usage. If you let them sit on a table for about 5 minutes without using them, they should be able to get into the same deep sleep situation to give us a better battery, standby battery, obviously. The ability of charging them using a lightning connector is present at the bottom, although ever so nicely off-centered, which drives me a little bit crazy. You're still able to see the ear cups. They're not actually blocked all the way. And of course, on the top, nothing protects the top. This is literally the packaging that they decided to include. So if you're carrying them, you have to always hold them like this. If you want to put them somewhere, this area is always exposed. So AirPods Max, at this point, I feel like they should have done a much better job putting a better case in here. Because when we start looking at, let's say, Huawei or even Sony, both of them include a hard-shelled case. This is what you should include with a pair of headphones that you're paying $300 plus for. And of course, you should be the ability of actually putting extra accessories there. Let's say a cable of so on. This, even though you need to charge them with a Lightning to USB-C cable, which is included in the box, there's no way to put that in there. So you're carrying an extra cable in your pocket if you want to be able to charge these guys. That's the only way to use the charging capabilities, but you can't carry that with you. These guys have not only a pouch on the outside, and in the case of the Sonys, they're very nice. You can see here the earphones sit very nicely. You have an airplane adapter, which I don't think anybody ever uses. We have a standard, as I mentioned to you guys, 3.5 to 3.5 millimeter headphone jack cable that you're able to use it even when the battery is depleted. Last but not least is a USB Type A, USB Type C charging cable. All of these are sitting here very nicely, very cozily. And of course, when you're done with it, it actually helps because you're able also to put things on the outside. Lastly, looking over on the Freebuds Studio, again, hard shell case, very nice. And of course, one of the main benefits of this, of course, is the protection that it gives our device, the ability of housing the cable, again, charging cable present in there, and of course, protecting the entire pair of headphones, not just the ear cups, the entire pair of headphones. For any pair of headphones that you're buying in 2020 or 2021 or even 2019, you should always get a case or something that protects your investment, because at the end of the day, these headphones are going to be taken with you. They're going to go with you from place to place. You may want to put them in your backpack. You may want to take them and put them on the desk and work around. If you have a setup in the office, there's a lot of things that you end up doing with your headphones. They don't tend to just sit in one spot and nobody touches them. So a carrying case should always be there. And now AirPods owners are having to basically pay an extra premium to go buy a third-party case to their $600 investment that they just spent after literally just a few days after getting it. You realize this fact right out of the box, because the moment you take them off your head and you want to put them on your desk, you start realizing the issues or the concerns that could actually come about, these things not being protected. So as far as the testing, I'm going to give you guys my opinions after testing out both the XM4s as well as the AirPods Max on different systems that I have here in the office. So first and foremost, we're going to start off with the PC. I used my laptop and my desktop both running Windows 10, paired over Bluetooth, obviously since they both work with Bluetooth, and I didn't want to give Sony's any benefit of using the 3.5mm headphone jack option. So when it compares to both Bluetooth as well as basically the fact that neither one of them has an app for a desktop, I would say the XM4s performed a little bit better for me, because as far as the audio performance, they had a little bit more emphasis on the bass out of the box, and that's typical to the XM4s. There was no way to tune them, so literally you got the audio the way it was played on your device. So if you're playing it on the PC and you're playing high quality audio, if you're playing mastered audio directly off of Tidal, you can definitely enjoy listening to the music on both of these devices. Although on the actual AirPods, I ended up having to keep them at a roughly close to almost 100% on the volume level, just to get some of that bass performance that I wanted, that I was getting out of the 50 to 60% volume that I had with the XM4s. So PC side, I would still technically consider the Sony's a much better buy than what we get with the AirPods Max. Now, switching it over to my MacBook 2017 MacBook Pro, and the overall performance I think was about the same. There was really no way to configure the audio on the headphones on either one of the two systems. So again, volume level had to be a little bit higher, and of course that gave me the better performance when I was able to get the AirPods Max to play the audio that I wanted to play correctly. Pairing, as far as simplicity, again, this is an Apple ecosystem, pairs very easily to that. The XM4s performed roughly about the same, again, out of the box without any special tuning. I feel like the XM4s provide us a little bit better when it comes to the bass performance on any music. They're all very nice balanced as far as performance. Just again, you have to raise the volume on the AirPods Max just to get something very similar, where I feel like the XM4s give us a little bit more headroom to be able to actually increase if we want to go higher, but on the other hand, enjoy the music without necessarily bassing it or playing the music so loud that it ends up performing the way we want it to be. When it comes to mobile devices, I use the Galaxy Z Fold 2 as well as the 11 Pro Max iPhone to kind of give us a baseline of what the two devices that I tested with. Now, Sony has an application that installs on both iOS and Android that allows us to tune and customize the sound experience out of them, and that kind of gave me a better way of controlling what I was able to get out of them. As far as the AirPods Max, I was able to configure a little bit of the audio performance when it was on an iPhone, but when it came over on Android, if I don't have Dolby, so if you're using a device that does not have Dolby Atmos, there was really no way for me to tune the audio on Android other than just connecting them. There obviously is a much better audio performance here with LDAC over on the XM4s when it comes down to audio codec, but I'm not really focusing on that. I'm focusing mostly on sound experience. And at the end of the day, I feel like the AirPods Max provided a good experience when it was on Android as well as on Apple devices, but it was really more tuned and better performance. The simplicity, the spatial audio, all the features and the bells and whistles that the AirPods Max have only exist on Apple's devices. And what I mean by that is configuring the active noise cancellation, the ability of seeing any kind of function in the spatial audio options only exist on iPhones, and that's typical. So you're not going to get any of those features outside of Apple's ecosystem. When it came down to the Sony's, of course, the XM4s performed the exact same way on both Android and iOS. And I felt like the application that allows us to actually tune in the ANC gave us even better and more control over the treble, as well as the actual cancellation to be able to run it in the background. So you're not necessarily running it's either on or off kind of thing, or on autopilot all the time. You may think that up to this point, TK just wants to bash the AirPods Max. I do have to say that overall, as far as the positive and when it comes to these headphones, there's a few things going on for them. First and foremost, definitely great build quality. There's no question that they're the most premium build quality by comparison to the other headphones that we looked at today, or even some of the other options available. As far as the ANC, some of the best ANC options that we get there, by comparisons to the XM4s as well as the Freebuds Studios, they feel the most natural. They all perform very well, but the AirPods feel like the more natural when you're talking through them. So meaning if you have the headphones on and you have the ANC off and you have pass-through going on, they felt the best and they sounded the best. Audio performance, I think the XM4s and the Freebuds performed a little bit better to my liking, mostly because I feel like I need the ability of controlling my audio. XM4s have an amazing app for both iOS and Android. And the ability of actually customizing the ANC on them, also very much better experience when it comes down to the Apple. And yeah, obviously the XM4 app is the best way to control those headphones. And last but not least, of course, if you want to be able to truly enjoy your AirPods Max, you definitely need to listen to them at a much higher volume. So as far as positives, again, audio quality is very nice, well balanced, just not very bassy. And of course, the bass levels is a little bit underpowered. I feel like it's designed to be well balanced across all levels. So the mids and highs, the vocals, everything is basically well balanced. You want to get a little bit better, boost the audio a little bit, or go into the EQ option that we showed you guys in the last video here. But at the end of the day, I feel like out of the box, the XM4s perform much better. The price point is much better, and you have more control over your headphones. And that, at the end of the day, makes sense for a premium pair of headphones. You don't want to get an autopilot type of a headphones, also kind of a first gen experience type of a headphones when it comes to the AirPods Max, because this is definitely a first gen situation. Some of the issues, some of the concerns that are going on in here, first and foremost, the case itself that does not protect the entire headphones, that's a first gen problem. The ability of actually replacing the ear cups, but there's no way to replace the mesh fabric that you put on the top, which, by the way, picks up not only hair oil, but also if it gets teared, you're pretty much stuck to what you have. And there's no way to protect them without paying an extra $100 for an extra case. So there's things going on there. And I feel like Apple is using us as beta testers for their first gen product. And unfortunately, everybody bought them. And of course, Apple heard that this is a success. So I'm hoping that they also hear some of the concerns and they fix it in the second generation. And I think at that point, maybe we can start recommending the headphones or the AirPods Max to somebody. So this video, again, as I said at the beginning, is a little bit different than my normal videos. It's because after using them for 2 weeks, I just found it very hard to recommend them. I always love to allow the tech to speak for itself. But when it comes down to a pair of headphones that cost more but provide you less just because they have that Apple tax on them, I think we need to think twice, and I think Apple needs to do better in the future. Let me know what you guys think about the AirPods Max. Are you considering them? Have you picked them up? And what your thoughts are about after using them for some time? I know that the wait line for getting a pair of headphones like these right now from Apple is all the way to February and March, which again kind of goes around and tells us that at the end of the day, I think there are people there that think that this is a good investment and they should be able to pick it up. So let me know again, what do you guys think? Like and subscribe as usual. Thank you very much for the support. I'll see you guys in the next one.